So, if you, right now, know what the card dissection tools does, get yourself a little treat on the way home from work today or tomorrow. You earned it. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video, and we've got a surprisingly spicy D&T style deck list today. That is very much built around Samwise the Stouthearted and repeatedly recurring it with things like Karakas. So when Samwise enters, you choose up to one target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, return it to your hand, and then the ring tempts you. So traditionally in these styles of decks, what that means is that you get to recur your Arid Mesa or your Wasteland, which there's a playset of, and they're just a little bit off screen. But we're going to go a little bit deeper today with dissection tools. So when it enters, you manifest Dread, and then you attach a creature to that. So for 5 mana, you've got a 4/4 Death Toucher and Lifelinker. And to equip this, you need to sacrifice a creature, which it's giving you a creature that you can sacrifice to equip it. But the idea here, and it took me a second to realize this, is that you sacrifice something that you want to recur. Let's say a Stoneforge Mystic that you use to get this. Then you pay 2 mana, you Samwise, and then all of a sudden you return that Stoneforge to your hand. If you're lucky, you vial it back in, and then bam, you're good to go. We are a 60 card deck rather than a Yorion deck, so we miss out on Yorion as a resource, and in exchange for that, we are a tighter Samwise deck. So there's fewer copies of some of the things that end up forming our endgame inevitability here, but if you take a look at this deck, we can almost always leave our vial on 2, which is something that we want to do for these Samwise loops. So we can Felia Samwise, we can Dissection Tools Samwise, we can Karakas Bounce Samwise. We're looking to get a lot of value here. And if you take a look at the sideboard, the sideboard is very, very, very clearly targeted at unfair stuff, right? So 10 of these cards just are like, these are absolutely anti-combo. And we have 2 White Orchid Phantoms for matchups like Eldrazi, where we need to nuke some non-basic lands, and 3 generic fair cards that we can board in when we want to, say, get rid of the Thoughtseizes that might not be particularly strong in a fair matchup. So we've got a lot of value. We've got a lot of synergy. Let's figure out whether or not that matters in our current combo-driven metagame. And folks, if you need your dissection tools or anything else, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAmagic.com. Those folks are great. I sell them my cards when I go to in-person events. I buy my cards from them when I need stuff for said in-person events. And I get to use my own promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on my order, and you should do that as well. You're also going to get free shipping, and you can expedite that shipping if you need your cards in a hurry. All right, let's battle. All right, opening hand is solid. We would really, really, really like it if our opponent plays cards that die to Swords to Plowshares and Orcish Bowmasters. Just a Delver. Same thing. Do I want to play around Daze? No, it's a pretty big tempo cost to play around Daze here, because then I can't play one of my 2/2 drops immediately next turn. Yep. I mean, it sucks. I accept it. It sucks. But I really would like to curve that, like, remove swords into Orcish Bowmasters while my opponent is tapped out. Like, that sounds great conceptually. We're not going to Surveil with this land. There's a good chance that I return it with Samwise. My opponent's going to replay the basic island that I already know about. Maybe that's not true, because I would like to Bowmaster first. I'm going to give up the tempo this time. Ooh. I think I'm just going to pass the turn, though. All right, I'll float a mana there. Then I will just cast Samwise to get that back. Sweet. So here is a refresher on the One Ring, by the way. Order? Honestly, though, I think it is fair to not play that out ahead of time, right? So try to make my opponent crack that now by Samwising again. I don't think so. I think I just want to play a proactive card now. I'm going to do Bowmaster while my opponent is tapped out and has on-board card draw at the ready. I think it could go either way with Stoneforge or Bowmaster, though. Nice. That'll be 18, then 16. Oh, the ETB tapped land is rough. That's why my opponent aggressively wastelanded Wasteland a minute ago. Cool. Now I can potentially Samwise that Wasteland. I don't really know if that's the best thing to do, though. Doesn't feel like it is. After no blocks, I think I just flash this in and put the pressure on my opponent's life total. So I can play this around days. That'll be a ping to 15, then 5 combat damage, putting my opponent to 10. Then I wasteland the sewers, and there's not going to be a board wipe at 2 mana that my opponent can do here. You may absolutely Tameo. Am I into just solituding that out of the way? Gains my opponent 0 life. I think I'm into that. Obviously, this is more aggressive than what I would normally play, but like we can smell the blood in the water here. So, my opponent surveilled a Bowmasters. They are some sort of blue-black, probably tempo deck. They've got main deck Spellbomb, so they're at least a little bit bigger than normal. Main deck Spellbomb, indicator of a very, very healthy metagame. So what do I want versus this? This is probably the pile of stuff that I could realistically consider. I probably don't need Thought Seizes here. Those can probably go. I'm looking to play this value-oriented game. That gives me at least 4 of these 6. I am not really sure that Death Touch and Lifelink matters for this matchup. My opponent is likely to poke me for small amounts with things like Baleful Strix, Snapcaster Mage, that sort of stuff. If they are as big as Spellbomb might suggest. Or alternatively, they just beat me to death with a Tameo. They ultimate a Tameo Planeswalker side. I think I'm going to junk that. You answer a Tameo. You answer a Tameo. You hedge against things like Murktide Regent. If my opponent randomly has Urza Saga, this is okay. I don't think they're going to have Urza Saga. I'm going to do you and round out with Spellbomb. And is very clearly mid. It's good against Tameo in particular. Between Karakas and Swords to Plowshares. X2. I'm going to keep it. Sometimes I play a White Orchid Phantom on my own Karakas to convert that into a Plains. That's a fine draw. Opponent did not have an initial Tameo. As land drop 2. We're chilling. There's no pressure on me. I could wait. But if I wait, I'm not actually playing things around days. I kind of want to White Orchid Phantom my own Karakas. And I don't think this is super likely to get countered. Like, this card just isn't that good here. If it does get countered, I don't think I care. Yeah, so we'll just blow up our own Karakas here. Picking up a Plains. I think that's a pretty clear indicator that I have a second Karakas in hand. See if opponent's surveilling or if they're just going to dump something like a Bowmaster in at end of turn. Ooh, it's a Felia. Sure. We have Karakas and Swords here, but opponent could get a decent amount of short-term value. Momentum Breaker. Cute. So that causes me to sacrifice this, and then my opponent can blink it. So they get some speed. I take 2. Then this is going to come back. I am very unsure what my worst card here is. I think it's Skyclave. My own Felia. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to try to bounce this Karakas and keep my Swords of Plowshares and play this sub-game, or if I just want to nuke Felia forever. I think I don't want to play that sub-game the entire game. Like, I have very clear things that I would like to do with my mana. And I think trying to play the Felia sub-game versus my opponent, who is likely to have 4 mana this turn, I think that goes badly for me. I guess Bowmaster in response. That is days, unfortunately. My cards are now not great. My opponent can rebuy their Edict. I have to play my shit out at sorcery speed. I don't have any 1-drop creatures, right? Yeah, I don't have any 1-drop creatures. So this is just kind of overall going to lead me to feel bad places. Let's Recruiter now. What am I picking up? Bowmaster's okay. Stoneforge is okay. Skyclave to more permanently answer the Teferi is also probably fine. I think I'm going to go with that. The Skyclave is mana inefficient. I might just need to clear out my opponent's shit. I think I'm just perpetually behind on tempo, though. I think it's way too easy for my opponent to just take game actions that kind of stall me out and then get some degree of overwhelming value. Oh man, they don't even have to use their edict, so that means it can eat one of my next creatures instead. Rough. Yeah. So they're straight up just going to play it to make me discard a card. I don't super care about Bowmasters and these bodies right now. I guess I will get rid of swords. But it is all around feel bad here. So 1, 2, and 3. I think long term the Teferi is the problem, even if that gives my opponent a vanilla 3/3 creature. And this lets me play Felia at instant speed later. Here's a Wasteland that can eat my Karakas. That means I'm attempting this in response. Cool. That's a swords on my Felia that I now don't have Karakas protection for. The Tamiyo that I don't have a Karakas for. I can't attack into this stuff. Feels real bad. I'm going to Wasteland my opponent. I'm not happy about it. But they are about to have a Clue Factory online. And that means if I can constrain their mana, that's great. I think my opponent is better at this long-term value plan than I am. That's cracking the clue. If this turns into a Planeswalker, I am in a lot of trouble. And it does. So Tamiyo pluses up to 4. There's 2 blockers in the way, and this is attacking as a 1. Never mind. I think I'm going to take my draw step and then concede. I think this one is likely over. Well, if it was not going to be over, that would be the sort of draw that I need. So if I get Kaldra, it's much better versus the current board than Lion Sash is. If I get Lion Sash, I can chip away at my opponent's graveyard while producing a creature that can attack into Tamiyo. I think this is too slow. I think I have to risk my opponent having the removal spell and pick up Kaldra. Because I think my opponent just has like 3 chump blockers lined up for Lion Sash. I don't think that's profitable. I think this ultimates before that happens. Yep, there's the removal spell. Oh, okay, so my opponent went with Tamiyo minus. That was always on board, actually. Meaning that Lion Sash was better, but Lion Sash is still pretty bad. And now, like, this exists, yeah. I am fucking drowning. Yeah, Lion Sash definitely not winning from here. Alright. We're dead either way. Wrath of the Skies is now more appealing to just wipe out the random bullshit that my opponent is blinking after they clear my board. I'm going to go Spellbomb out and bring that in. This is a little bit of a weird one, in that I would like to hold my Wastelands for as long as possible, as to not show them and maybe recur them with Samwise. And I also would not like this to get Wastelanded. So there's a little tension here. This is not really a matchup where I want Vile. Vile Karakas creature is cool and all, but Vile being a threat would probably just be better. I've said that I don't really think Aether Vial is a playable legacy card anymore, and I stand by that. Saying that did also get me a play a 4x Aether Vial deck challenge coming up, so that's on the horizon. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what I'm going to play for that. YouTube members who watch this video early because you support me. A, you're awesome. B, if you have thoughts, get in there in the comments. White Orchid Phantom. I think I am not casting 2-drops this game. I don't want that land. Okay. So now I can attempt to do some Samwise crimes. Some slightly awkward things could happen here. The Wasteland, target your scrub. I'll attempt to change phases. You're going to flash in Ophelia. Oh, fuck, it's a Containment Priest. Well, that's really annoying for me. I'll put in Sam in response to pick up my Wasteland. And then I think I'm just going to play this while my opponent is tapped out and doesn't have days available because this is not an island. Okay, opponent does not have more land. That is great for me. I think we're dirtling. Fetch. I get a scrub. Would my opponent block here? I guess if I'm going to bounce anyway. I don't know, I could loot away the plains. Yeah, let's just dirtle. Get my land back. And I want you to not be blocked by creatures with greater power. Oops, all Samwise. I think I'll just keep the other one. I have way too many lands. 18. Anyway, remember all those times where I talked about basic lands being good? Well, they are. Wasteland. Target Meticulous Archive. Swords of Plowshares. Target Containment Priest. How exactly does Samwise read? Put there from the battlefield. Discard Marsh Flats. 16. Karakas. Bounce Samwise. Aether Vial. Yes. Samwise. Get Wasteland back. You stay my ring bearer. You stay my ring bearer. Pass. Now we can start getting to the point where I get to drain my opponent, which is cool. My opponent gets one use of that Tundra. The funny thing here is that I just have another Samwise if my opponent takes out my like very problematic Samwise engine that I have going here. My opponent got to previously dirtle without me interrupting it with their max speed enchantment that I'm blanking on the name of. Yep. Yeah, no, I think that's what you got to do. It's just like very unfortunate here. Lol, Felia too. Nice. So, Wasteland, target Tundra, activate Aether Vial. Yes. Samwise, target Wasteland. Bowmasters is my ring bearer. So now I get to like super dirtle. We're gonna loot away Wrath of the Skies. So I deal 2 damage, and then I drain for 3. I'm just gonna cast Felia on my opponent's turn. And I can like Felia multiple Stoneforge Mystic Blinks, yada 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 yada. We are chilling. I am fine casting a Felia. I still have plenty of other stuff to do with my vial. This is either blue or white mana, assuming that my opponent wants a basic, so my Wasteland doesn't nuke their stuff. Alright, it is white. Yeah, so my opponent can like target Samwise, and then I bounce it with Karakas, and I just continue to dirtle. Good showing from Samwise here, but let's please keep in mind that we wastelanded our opponent into oblivion and they got stuck on one land for a bit in the middle. So I don't know if that will be the average experience, but damn, that felt good. Like, let's get paired against Eldrazi and just Samwise Wasteland lock them forever. That'll be fun for me. You know what you did with selling Echo Spawn. You deserve it.
Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, which is, in my opinion, the best Magic the Gathering website for hosting your deck lists online. One of my favorite features is that you can create your own custom tags for when you're deck building. So let's say you're building a commander deck and you want to know, hey, how many copy effects do I have? You can just create a tag and sort everything, and there's fun little hotkeys so that you can do this more quickly. So really, please consider checking them out if you are looking to tinker with deck lists online.
All right. Opening hand here. Kind of mid. I don't think worth mulliganing. That is a high variance card. I think when I don't know the matchup, I just get rid of that. I think there's too high of a chance that that card is a miss. Like, sometimes we're going to pair into something like a Dimir Tempo deck or a Reanimator deck where I would be very happy to have that card, but there's a lot of times where it just actively will not be good. I think my play here, and we humorously drew another Solitude, I think my play here is Sorcery Speed Orcish Bowmasters, and then next turn I can play Lion Sash around Daze while holding up an extra mana to eat something out of graveyard immediately. Yeah, you can surveil again, that's fine. My opponent likes their card. I don't think we can be distracted by value here. I think I just have to put Lion Sash in play. Otherwise, Entomb plus Reanimate just kills me next turn. Do I need to leave a scrubland in the deck for later? No, there's not a black-only fetch land, so I don't have to do that. All right, Lion Sash in play. We don't fully know whether or not we are playing against Reanimator yet. Like, this just as easily could be a tempo deck. I have lost Felia. This may be a little weird. I'm going to eat that in response to play around exactly Murderous Cut. I don't think my opponent's going to be playing Murderous Cut, but It seems free to play around it there. So now I'm in a frustrate... Never mind. We can stop narrating that chain of thought. Now I get to figure out what deck my opponent is playing. So... Looks like we are closer to tempo bullshit here. Double Brazen Borrower sucks for me. That makes going in on Lion Sash significantly worse. Yeah, this turn kind of sucks now. That's very unfortunate. I'm going to take a Brazen Borrower there. So I'm going to swing in. After no blocks, I am going to eat that Brazen Borrower out of the graveyard to push one more point of damage here. Opponent will go to 14. I am probably going to just eat another card out of their graveyard in respect of Murktide Regent. But I don't think I have to do that immediately. Sometimes I might make my opponent spend mana first. So I think this is the point where I eat a card. There's always going to be a cantrip in the graveyard. I'm just going to eat a Thoughtseize. So we could be back in Murktide Regent territory immediately. I've got this Solitude that my opponent might want to Thoughtseize first. Yeah. I'm going to assume that these two cards are still there. And I think there's a decent chance that one Brainstorm has gone back. All right, I lost some long-term value in the form of the Recruiter. Blah. They are Reanimator. I get hyper punished for trying to play around Murktide Regent. After seeing double Brazen Borrower, I thought it was more likely that they were going to be, god damn it, tempo. All right, so Solitude, pitching Samwise to get rid of the Solitude. I can't let my opponent gain all that life. This feels pretty bad though. I'll cast this to get back a Solitude, but it's not really castable right now. All right, so there's that other Brainstorm. And it looks like my opponent is passing the turn here. Bowmasters would suck. Not a lot to do about that. Opponent only has room for so many cards. After seeing double Brazen Borrower, Bowmaster, probably not in the game 1 deck. I think I say no to that. I think I need to finish the game. Even a land to hardcast Solitude is better than that Thoughtseize. Oh... Thoughtseize is also not a white card for the purposes of Solitude. You just have multiple reanimation spells. So that pings and kills Samwise. Oh shit, their life total was low enough that they couldn't get Archon. Okay, cool. I'll pass the turn here. And then if they attack, I will flash in Solitude. Oh, they've got that in the main deck. Yikes. Wasteland. That's fine. That's not super potent right now. So I have some blink effects where I could, in theory, blink that Bowmaster for value for me. But I also have Silent Clearing in my mana base that could make me want to draw a card. That's a dead card. My opponent presumably just chump blocks here. Yep. And then I will pass turn. I would not be surprised if my opponent just petty thefts the Solitude back to my hand. And now we are in top deck mode, which I think greatly favors my opponent. I think an Animate Dead is Archon of Cruelty. A Reanimate is a Goyf. Yeah. Can't Thoughtseize the top of the deck. All right, literally any white card, literally any land. That'll do. I don't think I can risk it. One connection with this is so bad. Like, as much as I want to play Felia and then, like, rip the land, play Solitude, blink Solitude, like... I don't think I can risk it. It's just so bad for me. I can take these hits for 3 for a very long time. Yeah, don't even think I cast this immediately. The play patterns against this deck are so awful. 17. Because this deck is simultaneously being one of the better reanimate, like better combo decks in the format, while also just being able to play a pile of things that look like this and dodge graveyard hate in a meaningful way. That is Swamp. Yep, cool. I have 2 shadowy backstreets and I've used both. Great. Well, at least I'm a luck sack. I got that going for me. So here's the shit part. So since those creatures are so large, they gain my opponent that much life. Like, this is now live with Reanimate again. God damn it, you... Ah! Fucking hate this format. Come on, chat. We're gonna go play, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm in Dark Magician Girl. I'm at 10. So upset. Oh, I fucking used Lion Sash already. Let's not draw dissection tools. Oh wait, this just literally kills me. I'm literally just fucking dead. Bren Billin, it's not your fault. You're cool. Watsy though. Watsy, we gotta talk about this fucking deck. It's not in check. So, what am I doing with my life? We unfortunately have to play a game versus, the best Reanimator deck in the format and a respectable tempo deck at the same time. So, it's a lot. You're out. You fuel my own graveyard, which is risky. I cannot cut my removal. That means this stuff is untouchable. Recruiter technically gets Containment Priest and Solitude, which is reasonable, but this is slow. I think that goes. The first couple of turns matter the most. Stoneforge tutors for Lion Sash and probably doesn't go, which means that Kaldra also probably doesn't go. The weak link at this point is probably Samwise, with the biggest issue being that if I cut Samwise, I am down to 18 creatures. That probably means that Aether Vial just goes. Yeah. So notably, this is not redundant in a bad way. This is good. The Leyline shuts off my opponent's graveyard, and Grafdigger's Cage stops them from reanimating my bullshit. So this should blank all of the reanimates and animate deads. So Leyline in play, drop Cage. No graveyard-based crimes for you. Opponent factors, I'm in the middle of eating a grape. Forgive me. So I can get a little bit of Samwise fetch land value. We have fully gotten the ouch from our opponent. I don't really want to get dazed on this Stoneforge. I think I am going to get my Samwise value. I don't think I need to do that now. Like, as much as I want to shove Stoneforge and just try to end this game, that does not feel correct. So that troll shuffles the Brainstorm. I think I will just play on basics this game. All right, so opponent just brainstorming there to play around Bowmaster, which is fine. I don't have that. And this is, like, not a very good card right now. Like, it's returning a fetch land. But what I'm saying is this is not an appealing counter spell target. All right, I maybe don't need to do that one too. But we will have Leyline and Grafdigger's Cage and Containment Priest and Lion Sash going. So, the graveyard is fucking on lockdown. Anyway, you ready for just Goyf? Humorously, the Goyf does not have power and toughness right now. Womp womp. More Samwise? I don't think so. Send it. 15. And now we have the Lion Sash Leyline of the Void combo, where Lion Sash is bad at being a hungry boy. And in Undercity Sewers, junking a Polluted Delta. Yeah, it seems like my opponent straight up just has a bunch of Reanimator bullshit in hand right now. That's good for me. I think I'm just going to Surveil Land. Is that true? I could just flash in Containment Priest. I don't know, it's dazable here. I am just going to take the Surveil Land. I will keep that. That's totally fine. So let's go to Punchies. Send it. We're getting a response. Just a Surveil Land, that's fine. Junking a Consigned Memory, which is not a surprising card. I'm probably only going to spend 2 mana on creatures this turn. I think I will just eat the thing. I'll play 1 creature around Daze, probably Bowmaster. Not Petty Theft. Wasteland is no big deal. I can Samwise that back if I want. I don't think I even have to. I think I'm just going to play another creature that can attack. Eat a permanent with Lion Sash. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, there is Petty Theft. So I will hit my opponent for 4. That's fine. I think I'll just hold up Bowmaster. Full cycle is fine. I just want to be able to Bowmaster if my opponent puts a cantrip on the stack. No, they just died. Alright, cool. The Graveyard Hate did the Graveyard Hate thing. And my literal empty graveyard due to Lion Sash kept things like Goyfs from taking over the game. I had another Skyclave that I didn't board in. Whoops. I probably need that for the mid-range stuff. Both graveyards being empty is not going to be the norm. Do I take out 1 Thoughtseize? Like, do I have enough Graveyard Hate that that is an acceptable thing to do? Let's say yes. Alright, I have turn 1 Graveyard Hate. I have a removal spell. I have a Wasteland for sewer stuff. And as much as I would like to recur Wasteland with Samwise, I don't think I get to fart around here. Like, it is very easy for me to die on turn 2. Okay, that does not cast the card Daze, which is very, very good for me. Spellbomb resolves. Nice. So I'm just gonna pass the turn here, and I'll Samwise on my opponent's turn. There is Swamp. EE on 1 to clear Spellbomb. Yeah, that's fine. I've got Samwise. I can bring it back. I think I am... Am I getting a Scrubland and just returning Arid Mesa? I do have a black card that I would like to cast. It's awkward if I get Force of Willed. I could also just Skyclave the EE. I could just Skyclave the EE. And just not even give my opponent the window. Lion Sash. That's just better. The opponent goes to 18. Then I'll drop Lion Sash. And we'll make our opponent jump through some fucking hoops. Boo! I will eat a card from your graveyard in response. Alright, but opponent does not have the mana to blow that up yet. Ooh, Samwise Karakas. That's cool. I'm not doing it right now, but it's cool. The attack brings my opponent to 16. Am I doing it right now? Nah, I'm not. Skyclave EE out of the way. And now I can surveil land at end of turn if I want. I probably don't want. I'd like this to be a Scrubland on command or something that I can return with Samwise. That's a 1-1. That's a 0-1. And you don't have white mana. You got it. And I could value blink. Or I could just Bowmaster it. Maybe now I surveil land. Yeah. On my turn, though? And what if I just Scrubland on my turn? Oops, all Samwise. So, fetch, Scrubland, Bowmaster, ping Lion Sash, Animate Dead gets sacrificed, play Karakas. I think leave Karakas in play. Samwise, keep the one that can attack in play. Return Lion Sash to hand. Who is my ring bearer? Orc Army token. Oh, fuck, you don't attack this turn. I'm an idiot. Should have been Samwise. I was thinking that I was probably going to bounce this Samwise out of play. Give up a little value there. I think we are okay to give up that value. Alright. I'll flow some mana with the Karakas. Not that I really intend on doing anything with it. Cute. My opponent can return that Wasteland to play. I am fine letting them do that. This game is not about trying to stop a 2-1 creature from hitting play. Yeah, I'm not even going to Solitude that, I don't think. I don't know, I could. I can defer that decision a turn, though. Doesn't need to be right now. Like, I don't care if you trade. I don't care if you trade. Slightly care if you trade, I guess. Because you're hard to put back into play because I don't have black mana right now. No to Thoughtseize. Yep, this is all fine. So, they get their illusion token, which is a 0/0, so that doesn't do anything. And do I want to Samwise this back for value? I already have a Goyf covered. I think I am just going to play another threat. Counter spelled. Someone is playing Harbinger of the Seas against me. Good to know. I think the Reanimator deck actually lost to Graveyard Hate 2 games in a row. I have 4 damage on board. Cantrips are off. Entomb plus Reanimate is off. I think this is the point where I am okay saying no to that. A little awkward. It, like, puts my opponent to 3 life, which is within striking distance of, like, the ring finishing them off. I think since I am shutting off Reanimate anyway, with my next attack, that this is fine to just do. Leyline of the Void, obviously not good at this stage of the game. I can loot that away. Yeah. The Reanimate is off. Can Stoneforge Mystic for Kaldra. And now Kaldra is going to beat out any sort of 3-drop thing that my opponent could be doing here. And even double Fatal Push doesn't get my opponent through this. That's the Ponder into Bowmaster. That's not what you want to be doing here. think opponent played well given the hand that they were dealt. We have gotten the GG in chat. I was patient on my spell bomb and was rewarded. I maybe could have been even more patient and just like removed Skyclave with Solitude and gone about that things in that manner. I guess I could have thought more about which thing does my opponent end up targeting with the Solitude. How big of a token do I get if I Solitude? Where does that put me after the life gain? I could have gone into the tank a little more on that. Okay. If this vial is just about any creature, this hand is keepable, even if it is action light. I don't think I keep this hand in this metagame. On 6, I will reluctantly keep this, and I'm not happy about it. Again, Aether Vial, not particularly a strong card anymore. I don't even know if I'm going to put in a creature with Vial this game, because there's a good chance that I will just want to get Samwise going next turn. Force pitching to Fairy. We're in fucking trouble. Assuming that this is some sort of blue-white X control deck. I am not. God damn it. I've mulliganed once, and I'm going to go down another card to kill that Tameo unless I draw something like a Swords to Plowshares. Lucky. Alright. So, if I make it another turn, I can draw a card by fetching with Samwise and returning that card to my hand. Very glad I did not try to get cute and wait. Brainstorm punishes you waiting on removing Tameo very, very heavily. Wasteland is fine right now. I can have a lot of basics this game. So the question is, do I play around Daze on Samwise? I think no, because I just have another one for later if this doesn't work. So let's fetch Samwise. I do get Dazed, in which case I won't play out Scrubland this turn. That does keep my opponent from playing something like a Teferi this turn. That sucks for me. Now I have to junk the Samwise to answer that unless I draw swords like a Luxac again. Opponent going for Cryptic Coat. Well, I mean, double equipment? No. Oh, but there's a Murktide Regent. I guess I Solitude that. Alright, I take Cryptic Coat. And I don't play out Scrubland. Opponent does not have blue for Murktide Regent yet. So we've got that going for us. Alright, final card is Swords. 15. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. So at some point, I can pass the turn playing out Scrubland. I'll get Wastelanded, and then I use my mana on Samwise to return the Scrubland, and that's, like, not the end of the world. There's some tension between wanting to keep the extra white card in hand, though. Oh, shit. Yeah. That's great. I'll just pass the turn, and then I'll Wasteland Tundra in my opponent's upkeep. Yeah. No response. I'm just not going to give my opponent another draw for a Daze. Just going to take my value now. And then I can Wasteland their Wasteland to protect my Scrubland. Sure. Alright, opponent has colored mana back. And they know that I have a Wasteland. They are fetching now. You're going to Swords my Samwise before I can play a Karakas? No. Did not get the punish. I am fine with Wastelanding Wasteland. Right, not the nightmare scenario of just the one unknown card being something like Caldra. I don't think I'm giving up Samwise here. I would prefer my opponent use a Swords to Plowshares on that. Or I reach some point where I get Karakas and I just start accruing other value with this. Alright. I am unsure whether or not this sit and stare game favors me. My opponent has, like, a Caldra in their deck somewhere that they could randomly cantrip into and put in with Stoneforge. That would be very bad for me. Similarly, I have a bunch of Dirtle stuff that I could get going. This game is going to swing very hard, very fast in one person's direction. I think it is very even currently, but when it swings, and that'll probably happen after we exhaust our current resources, but when the game swings, it's going to be dramatic. So I can choose to Surveil land to fix my draw, or I can choose to play this game on basics to get to casting Solitude. I have 4 basics in my deck. I think I'm going to play towards casting Solitude safely. Now I could offer Stoneforge for... Sorry, I could offer Samwise for Stoneforge, take that trade, and then Samwise back the Samwise. That sounds good. So yeah, opponent does not fall for the trap. I'll just pass the turn here. That's gross. That's Cauldra. There is one unknown card. I don't think I'm going to play around that one card being Daze. I think I'm going to take some damage. I think the damage is fine. And then I'm going to do this. And double Surveil. Oh! Well, shit. Now I can just, like, fully play around the Daze. Okay, yeah. It means the rest of what I'm doing with my turn is less impressive, but now I just don't need to open myself up to that. My opponent's nowhere near equipping. Now I'll just chill. I'll leave this back as a blocker for just regular old Stoneforge Mystics. I guess my opponent could Swords. Cameo, yeah. Alright, so this is end of turn. So I think I am going to... How does this work with the target? Is this in graveyard by the time I need it to be to target it with the ability? I think no. Okay. When a player would gain priority, state-based actions first check for certain game conditions. If any of these conditions are met, the necessary actions are carried out simultaneously as a single event. Then, any triggered abilities go on the stack, and the check is repeated. So based on my reading of that, I think I can do this the way that I want. I keep this one, then the triggered ability goes on the stack. I return that one, and then I will do it again. I just wanted to double check that. Now, I know my opponent's exact hand. We are not going to fart around with Tamiyo. I'll get rid of that. And then I think chill. And then we can see how my opponent feels about this. They're fetching. Oh, wow. That's exactly what my opponent needs here. Ponder follows it up. That is another Wasteland. This is 7 mana. My opponent has 6. So I am now interested in attacking and potentially looting away this plains. I would not mind finding a removal spell. Alright, opponent is Swordsing the Solitude. That's fair. So this is now gone. My own Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Get rid of plains. Opponent will obviously take the 2. I am now at 10. I play Stoneforge. I'm just gonna get my own Cauldra. Then I have casting Felia to blink Stoneforge or blink a Germ token if that happens. That's fine. With this much mana, my opponent hitting stock up is really scary. Another Stoneforge. So now this is just kind of a matter of how many pieces of equipment does my opponent actually have. Assimilation Aegis. So my opponent can put that in and exile my Stoneforge. Nice, I get a little extra value here. I'll get to block and kill one of my opponent's 3 Stoneforges. Sure. Okay. So I think I do this to work towards my opponent having fewer bodies in play. We ping the one that is tapped because my opponent could block and trade with Samwise. So I'm going to blink my Bowmasters. Ooh. Let's junk a Samwise here, despite the fact that that loop is real cool. My opponent takes the 4. Now, do I Skyclave Assimilation Aegis or my opponent's second Stoneforge? I think their second Stoneforge. Just have 0 chance of Cauldra equip get in there on me. And then we can maybe think about blinking Skyclave later with Felia. What a turn. The Bowmaster comes back, finishes off Stoneforge. I guess I'm thankful that my opponent has not decided to double Wasteland me and keep me from taking lines like that. I understand what they were working towards. I absolutely cannot say what was correct without knowing their hand and deck list. Slog of a game. That was a game 1, right? That used a lot of clock for both of us. Alright, removal is good. So this can consider this. And, like, I could play that. The rest of this stuff probably isn't great. Do I want 2 dissection tools? It seems like Samwise was getting enough value without trying to get cute, but the matchup might go long enough that I actually want the 3rd piece of equipment. I'm having trouble figuring out my cuts, so that probably means just dissection tools needs to go. Wrath of the Skies is cool. On average, I think I am going to be the person who has more permanents in play, though. But sometimes I just need to nuke multiple Stone Forges, like at the end of that game there. My opponent has multiple Wastelands, meaning getting to higher mana amounts to sink into the Wrath of the Skies is not great. Maybe I don't board that one in, then I do that. Or I could trim more vials to put White Orchid Phantom into the deck. I don't know that I am excited about that. The thing that Wrath of the Skies does, that my other cards don't, is clear out a bunch of Cryptic Coat bullshit if the game goes that direction. I don't think Aether Vial is good, so... Alright. Let's get more threat dense. Yep. That's perfectly fine. I would prefer my white source to be a basic plains, but you can't have it all, right? Sure. I'm somewhat likely to be able to snipe a Surveil land. Like to brainstorm in response and hide your goodies. Fine, keep your secrets. Stoneforge, Murktide. Hand is good even after they hid some stuff with Brainstorm. I will be taking a Stoneforge Mystic. Murktide Regent is certainly annoying, but like I have things that answer that. Stoneforge Mystic is just objective value. And unfortunately, my opponent is going to be playing this game around Wasteland. We'll see if they go for the Cryptic Coat immediately like they did last game. They do. Am I just getting Cauldra in the face of that? Being like, hey, play a removal spell right the fuck now, or I have a 5/5. Like, I know most of their hand. I think I put them to the immediate test and put Cauldra into play. Yeah. Alright, I have done my own threatening thing. I don't feel great about being on the draw here, though. That's not Wasteland. That's a Prismatic Ending, sure. And now my resources don't feel very good. The Felia doesn't have a good blink target. The Samwise doesn't have a good return target. I think my opponent gets to start dirtling first. I'll put Felia into play. Yeah, fully expected that. So I turn Felia into my Ring Bearer so it can't be blocked by the 3/2 token. That seems like the line we're doing. So no legal target. Felia carries my ring. Attack, trigger, target Samwise. Opponent goes to 15. And then end step. No value there. So my opponent will have a 3/2 creature, but also could play Murktide Regent. I guess I will keep Felia as my Ring Bearer then. And then Cryptic Coat happens. Murktide Regent is less good when Felia can blink the creature out of the way. This is unblockable. 14. Cameo. Damn it! I guess my opponent had Wasteland anyway. They could have sequenced that differently too. Well, I mean, they could have done it afterwards. It doesn't matter. But what I'm getting at is Karakas was probably not going to live to see the light of day. I guess I can blink this when I attack, right? I wonder if it was a mistake for my opponent to attack with this then and not leave back this creature defensively. If they plus, I am a 2-power attacker, though. And this is 3? No, it was not a mistake. My Karakas lived to see the light of day. Recruiter of the Guard. Recruiter's cool. Samwise is not attacking this turn. Unless I do something like get a Solitude to get that Stoneforge out of the way. Like I can Recruiter, get Solitude, pitch Samwise, kill Tameo, rather than trying to do flip nonsense. So let's do... yeah. Let's do this. I get a lot of value off of this, assuming nothing goes wrong, which I don't have to assume nothing goes wrong. Oh, oh, there was a Brainstorm. Yeah, so I will pay for that. That opens up removal. So get Solitude. Yeah, I'm committed to doing this. That's fine. So Solitude, the Stoneforge. Go to combat. Everybody goes at Tameo. Felia trigger goes at Recruiter of the Guard. I'm fine with my creatures shrinking. I will discard a Wasteland.
This deals 3 to Tamiyo. I have made a land drop already. So this happens. Trigger for Recruiter. Yes. So Murktide plus removal spell might be a little rough. I don't want to get a Solitude. I could get a Stoneforge Mystic to make my Cauldron alive again. I could get a Bowmaster's not the best right now. I might just get something like a Skyclave. Skyclave is a safe pick. Oh shit, Skyclave was not a safe pick. I could have gotten Wastelanded off of double white there. That was a very bad choice on my end. I did not get punished for it, but that was very, very bad on my end. I should not have done that. White land would be cool. Solitude. That's not exactly what I'm looking for right now. Samwise is attacking as a 1-power creature. This turn, that's not great. Wait, can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So it's a 1-power creature that can attack and kill Teferi. Fantastic. Wait, not Ringbearer, not Ringbearer. Am I fine giving up the Samwise value? No. All right. I got lost in my own head for a second there. All right. 1, 2, 3. Let's just deal with this Tamiyo. Oh, consign. Sure. That's awkward given my mana pip situation. So Teferi pluses. We'll see if my opponent tries to continue to defend Tamiyo. They do. All right. So the Wasteland from earlier seems to be gone. Opponent could bounce and redeploy Cryptic Coat. Ward 2 is actually really annoying right now. This one is slipping. All right, that's Murktide. I'm at 14. I take a hit from that if I need to. I really want to get Felia in play. Just hard because my opponent has Tamiyo minus on Prismatic Ending at will. Oh, wow. That seems like a greedy attack. That's going to open up these creatures to get in there. This one? This might be worth 1 life to leave up Karakas for Samwise. Let's say no, though. So that kills Murktide. I get 2 power worth of attack, which I'm going to use to take out Teferi. And then I've got problems, but I'm starting to have a good board presence. Mystic Sanctuary. Going for the Brainstorm rather than the Prismatic Ending. See if that pays off for the opponent. Yeah, Prismatic Ending on Samwise might not be good enough here, even though I have the Karakas. Also starting to look like I might need to win this specific game. I have been playing slowly in this one. Onder to follow up. Very, very likely a shuffle. No. Tamiyo plus. That is a Wasteland. They can Wasteland me off of my Silent Clearing redraw, which is not what happened. Bowmaster. So I can play a 4-mana Bowmaster that pings and finishes off a cloaked creature, and that is fine. I just need to put some damage on this Tamiyo so it does not ultimate, or alternatively, I try to cheese my opponent with Bowmaster and let them draw 18 cards and send 18 points of damage upstairs. So they're effectively at 20 if I ping their face. Yeah, I could attack everything at their face and try to cheese the game with their Tamiyo activation. And then I just need their card not to be Force of Will or Swords to Plowshares. That seems greedy. So opponent blocks Samwise. I put some damage on Tamiyo. Then I Bowmaster, ping this. I will pay for the ward and clear that out in the short term. There's some Cryptic Coat bouncing nonsense that I'm going to have to get through, but I am starting to go wide of the Tamiyo, I think. And I think Felia blinking Skyclave will put me in a good position another turn or so down the line. Prismatic Ending, sure. All right. 2, 4, 5. This is 6 mana. So I am fine offering this trade. Actually, maybe I'm not. No, it eats up a lot of my opponent's mana. And I still have Skyclave to blink. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now I have a choice. I can either Wasteland my opponent off of Cryptic Coat bounce, or hold open, just drawing the last mana to play Cauldron. And I don't have time to think about all the permutations. I think I'm going to hold the mana. I would like to end this game in a couple of combat steps once I win the fight over Tamiyo. But not Wastelanding does open up Force of Will specifically. So it's possible I do a middle ground thing of if my opponent passes with 5 mana in their second main, I Wasteland a land. All right, they're going for a Ponder. Sure.
It's some big card. It feels like my opponent hit something like a Murktide Regent. I think I cast Felia in response to that before Force of Will is live. It does inform my opponent about the Felia, which is very awkward. But Swords to Plowshares is like clearly a thing that they would want anyway. Wish I had a little more time to tank on decisions here, because that timing like very much does matter. Sure. Awkward. That is worth 2 life to me. It could be something like Brainstorm, and it's a really big deal if it is. Oh shit, it is Brainstorm. Okay. So there's not a Tamiyo plus thing going on here. So combat, attacks, everybody goes at Tamiyo. Felia, Link's Recruiter of the Guard. This is lethal on this Tamiyo. Recruiter of the Guard comes back. Trigger, yes. Solitude, cast, Solitude on Tamiyo. I'm very glad that I had that Brainstorm read. Okay. Now I have a Gajillion Depower versus Cryptic Coat. I will probably start wastelanding my opponent off of Cryptic Coat Recursion. Now that Felia is gone, that might be different. 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. Yep. Yeah, we're getting in there. I am the beatdown. Yeah. I have a Silent Clearing redraw in a minute. I have Reequip Cauldra Germ. This is fine. Cryptic Coat's good and all, but my opponent needs to answer this Germ, and preferably answer the Cauldra equipment, which I don't know if they can reasonably do. We are both in danger of timing out. That was not a shuffle. It is a Stoneforge Mystic. Game got complicated. Simulation Aegis, sure. That hits a permanent? That can hit... Oh, they fucked up. They hit my Germ. I can just re-equip. Sweet. Prevail. No. Yeah. Punchies. Exile up to... No. Sorry, that is target creature. Alright, I mean, I guess they made me use all of my mana. That was fine then. I thought that was target permanent. Ain't nobody got time to read cards right now. I'm also not sure if I equipped the correct creature. Cryptic Coat comes back. Sure. Wasteland can take me off this redraw. I think is quite powerful. They do not do that. They value their own mana here. That's Lion Sash. Lion Sash. Cast Lion Sash. Reconfigure Lion Sash. Exile a card from your graveyard at random. I literally do not have time to click and read things. I'll send in with both. Actually, probably should not have reconfigured that. Just ate 4 seconds off my clock that I didn't need to have eaten. All right, opponent just lets me smack them there. 20 seconds left on the clock. We are 3-0. We have been fighting for the wins, but we are getting them. This deck is pretty sweet. All right. I can play this game starting on basics, I think. Samwise might do some work in like allowing me to remake land drops. Doomsday. Now it's just a bit. Doomsday. All right, it's gone. So my Swords to Plowshares and Solitude are very, very, very close to dead cards here. The good news is that my opponent is likely to be wastelandable, and wastelandable multiple times. I think I am going to risk my opponent having the perfects of like land drop Dark Ritual Doomsday and not wasteland them this turn so that I can wasteland multiple times later. And I think I am just going to surveil this turn, or alternatively put a 2-power creature into play and rebuy an Arid Mesa and then use the next one to rebuy Wasteland. I think I'm going to surveil. As weird as it sounds, attacking my opponent's life total becomes a lot less important. I'm just going to dismiss all of that at this point. If they might have their life total at some point with Doomsday. No, absolutely not. Stoneforge is not bad. I'll hit Underground Sea, and I'm going to do the Samwise thing. It could get dazed. I think this was a good thing to work towards. Doomsday is a matchup I fully just expect to lose. Like, even if we look at our sideboard stuff here, like, this doesn't stop Doomsday, this doesn't stop Doomsday, it's just bad. Alright, we got Force of Will for our trouble. But we did not successfully get to recur Wasteland to take out another land drop. So that probably means we are going down the Stoneforge Cauldra rabbit hole over the next few turns. And the issue is, even if I keep my opponent from getting to 3 lands, Dark Ritual just exists and is a way to cast a Doomsday without 3 lands. Ball Ritual could be played as well. Ponder's fine. Opponent did not shuffle, which is bad for me. I'll jam a Stoneforge here. I suspect that I am already dead. I just don't know it yet. Yeah, my opponent has topped the last couple of cards. And I eat more interaction. Yeah. I have 2 dead cards in hand and 2 Samwises with nothing really to do with them other than try to loop them when I am on 2 mana. Thanks, I hate it. They junk a land. That's Doomsday. Wasteland off the top for Samwise? Hey, you can't discard the top of library. I am still going to cast Thoughtseize. Maybe we take a Dark Ritual and my opponent does not have the 3rd land. Oh shit! We take a Dark Ritual and my opponent does not have the 3rd land. Okay. Alright, still have problems, but there's a chance. I will, I guess, pass turn with the intention of end of my opponent's turn, surveil land into Samwise. Fuck. Yeah. So I'm going to let them make their Doomsday pile. They can draw a card off of it. Samwise is only crashing in for 2. That is probably not enough to stop the Street Wraith type kills that can happen. Right, opponent is at 7. I don't think the top card of their library is going to be a Daze that they are going to cycle into. I'm going to surveil land here. That is not Bowmaster. That's the sort of card that I am currently looking for. Samwise picks up my Arid Mesa. That is junk. So the best I can do here is play Samwise once. So let's play Samwise, Legend Rule Samwise. Keep the one that can currently attack. Then grab this Samwise. Now I get to loot when I attack. Alright. I'll junk a land. I returned Arid Mesa. I guess I'm going to replay a land. It doesn't matter which one I junk. Actually, I am going to hold up both Swords of Plowshares and Solitude rather than returning that Arid Mesa. So there is Edge of Autumn. There is another Edge of Autumn. My opponent didn't even need the Street Wraith type cards. Now my opponent is Hellbent, so it doesn't matter. They are going for an Unearth line, and then presumably have another one in hand. That'll do. Is there anything spicy in here that I would not normally know about? Alright, so they have a copy of the One Ring. Got an LED to make their piles with. Sorry, there's 2 One Rings. So there's not a Cabal Ritual. Okay. Rough matchup here. I'm going to play a handful of cards that are going to suck. I could try to play around an Unearth pile, but if I am showing Graveyard Hate, my opponent just doesn't make that pile, so I don't think that really makes sense. I am going to board out Swords to Plowshares as the first thing that I board out. I will still have Solitude and Skyclave and Felia Blink, or something like a Murktide Regent or a Goyf or whatever. This just does not matter. Specifically because my life total does not matter against them. But White Orchid Phantom. Play White Orchid Phantom to fill slots. Yeah, I am unhappy about this matchup, though. Yeah. Is Aether Vial a trap? Like, do I need to not play Aether Vial to play around Dark Ritual Doomsday? This is a pretty big deal in terms of tempo. I'm going to do it, and just accept that sometimes playing Aether Vial loses me the game. Well, it was good enough to get Force of Will. Pitching a Thassa's Oracle. So there's another one in the deck somewhere. Under it is. I would really like to draw a land next turn. That would make my life significantly easier in terms of decisions. Nope. I think I need to not Wasteland here. As much as I want to Wasteland, I think I just have to be able to cast my 2-drops here. And if I wait on the Wasteland, I can potentially Wasteland twice with Sam. Alright, opponent was thinking about Daze there, which I will obviously pay for. So they have protected their Underground Sea from Wasteland in the short term. I kind of Wastelanded them without Wastelanding them. Dark Ritual Doomsday is not currently live. Street Wraith. Alright. So I will get to potentially Wasteland this land instead. Again, if I miss my land drop, things get a little weird. They junked a Doomsday and then played Lotus Petal. Fuck, they might have Doomsday next turn. Just with Underground Sea Doomsday. Since they got rid of this, that makes sense to me. I can Wasteland to deny them in the short term, or I can just play Bowmaster and try to resolve Bowmaster after they Doomsday and hope that that kills them. I don't think it does, because I think they can just wait it out and take the draws naturally. So I know they have Underground Sea for next turn. That's some shit. The ETB tapped land is an insult. Elia is no good here. So my opponent can just do a bunch of Street Wraith, Edge of Autumn stuff that isn't actually casting spells and kill me, not this turn, but the following turn. That was honestly just kind of unlucky. The matchup is incredibly tough, but not hitting a land drop in 3 or 4 draws. Yeah, Street Wraith highlighted from graveyard. Opponent will be at 8. I Bowmaster them to 7. Will depend a little bit on how exactly they build the pile, but I don't think Bowmaster does it. And Bowmaster absolutely won't do it if my opponent has a piece of interaction. Either that Veil of Summer or Daze or Force of Will. I think White Orchid Phantom has a higher chance of winning than Bowmaster does. So my opponent is at 4 cards in library, assuming that they cycle through like 3 of those. I guess I could look. Alright, so it's not an Unearth pile. It's not a Consider pile. The Lotus Petal isn't there. The LED pile isn't there. So if my opponent tries to draw 4 cards, Bowmaster stops that, but drawing 3 cards and then playing Oracle is good enough. I think I White Orchid Phantom and then follow up with Bowmaster. So hit an Underground Sea, and we see if it's good enough. My opponent notably gets 1 spell. So their 1 spell is Manamorphose. Well, okay, sorry, they can Manamorphose, I guess, into Thassa's Oracle. That's 1 bonus card drawn, that's 2 bonus cards drawn. That's 3 bonus cards drawn. Bowmaster would not have done it. Or wait, they were at 6 exactly. So at 6 exactly, taking 2 from the Street Wraith, that does do it. But they would have just drawn 1 less card and it would not have done it. Yeah, okay. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. GG's. The Metamorphose giving them that 1 extra card was real nice for them. Okay, my opening hand has a Vial. I think my opening hand is bad. Dissection Tools is a dead card here. I do not have mana to Stoneforge. Belia Bowmasters is a thing. I think my opening hand is bad, but if you're putting Aether Vial in your deck, you, I guess, have to be willing to keep hands that look like this. Don't love that. Don't love that. That means Prismatic Ending on Aether Vial might just fuck up my whole shit. Okay, let's lead on Wasteland as to not make a decision with Marsh Flats immediately. My opponent's fetching a basic anyway. This also masks what deck I am, I guess. You know, this could be a start from Goblins, for example. Or, you know, like Merfolk. That was a fetch for no reason. That was a deck-thinning fetch. There was no Brainstorm there. There was no Ponder there. We just show and telling immediately. We are doing stock up. I'm going to assume that my opponent is on show and tell until I have a reason to believe that I am wrong. In which case his Aether Vial is very slow. Solitude's not bad. I absolutely do not want to Wasteland my opponent, but I have to. Like, Wastelanding the stock up deck is not the best. Like, when your opponent can just very easily recover from what you do. It feels pretty bad. Alright, I'm going to hope that my opponent puts in a creature and plays Solitude, I think. That stops putting in a creature if my opponent has a counterspell. Whereas if I just put in something else like Bowmaster, and then my opponent has Force of Will to back up what they're doing, like my Solitude gets countered and I'm dead. It's the Omniscience, followed by the Emrakul. And of course, Emrakul has protection from spells that are 1 or more colors, so my Swords of Plowshares is not going to eat that, and we can concede there. We tried to high roll and lost. Containment Priest will be good here. Solitude is, I guess, fine. Deafening Silence is mid. I might play it. White Orchid Phantom kind of falls into the same category. This is not a Dissection Tools matchup. I've boarded this out in every single round. We have not played against something like Delver that is very, very aggressively attacking our life total, where this might be reasonable. Skyclave is an auto board out. Lion Sash is not good. I might play Cauldra as my only equipment. Let's get rid of that. Do I want to play all of the mid cards? No, but yes. And how do I feel about Swords to Plowshares? It's not great. It sometimes answers in Atraxa. Doesn't answer in Emrakul. Can answer in Archon of Cruelty. Or some other flex slot creatures that my opponent could play. Let's sort this by mana value. I just want to board out my Vials for being too slow. Kind of. Vial's nice if I Wasteland in the opener, or Vial sometimes lets me hold up a Karakas, which can be relevant. Overlord's slow, I can cut that. I could also go down on Stoneforges. It's not like I have a hate card that I can lock my opponent out of the game with anyway. I am fine doing this. Then I'll trim a Vial. The ETB tapped land is really rough. I lose a turn of tempo. I don't get to just go Deafening Silence into Bowmaster. I have to make a pick about one of those to play unless I high roll and hit a land. The Swords is also just kind of bad. Honestly, a Wasteland hand might be better than this. And I say might because sometimes I hit an Ancient Tomb and sometimes my opponent just plays Island, 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 and none of it matters. I think I'm going to roll this. This is a pretty much strictly better version of the previous hand. This gets to go Deafening Silence into Bowmasters and have Samwise afterwards. And then it becomes a question of, do I want Land Drop 3 or Swords? Land Drop 3 gives me something to do with Samwise, which I currently don't have. Let's assume that I hit a removal spell sometime over the course of this game. And I am not going to show Karakas immediately. I'm going to lead on Silent Clearing and take a point of damage that is probably not very relevant. Like 15 is kind of the magic number in this matchup, where 15 kills you from an Emrakul. So I can tap this a bunch of times before I am below that. My opponent can start cantripping. I will probably sorcery speed a Bowmasters and just have it in play so that my opponent cannot respond with Brainstorm. I just think it's too telegraphed if I pass the turn with it. Oh shit, never mind. Now I think I play Arid Mesa and don't show Karakas. If my opponent puts a Show and Tell on the stack, I flash in Containment Priest, lose to Omniscience. That sounds good. Shit, alright, well. That's my opponent's 1, so this is resolving. So 19, then 3 more triggers. That'll put my opponent to 16 when this is all said and done. Then they've got the land to shuffle. I've got 5 power in play. This is going okay. Swords is a Magic the Gathering card. Opponent's at 11. I have them on a 2-turn clock, assuming that I resolve another creature. That is a stock up. That's my opponent's 1 spell for this turn, so I'm just going to go ahead and let that resolve. And then I'm going to play a creature. I can do Uncounterable Containment Priest or Samwise for no value. I think I like Samwise for no value. I could try to save Samwise for a Silent Clearing redraw. Orc, I believe in you. That way, when my opponent casts Show and Tell, I can play Containment Priest in response. So this is 6 damage. And I think I chill. Like, I could Samwise bounce and have gotten a loot off of that. Don't know that that's actually good to do. Everything has gone right this game. So it will be fitting when I lose to Omniscience in a second. Oh, wow. They just did not have it. Cool. On the draw, do I want to get rid of all of the Aether Vials? Because they are just glacial, and play 2 more Stoneforges that can threaten pressure. I would probably be okay with that. I just also have like Deafening Silences and Thoughtseizes that I would like to do in the early game. You could also cut Swords if you wanted, and that would not be crazy either. Let's get Stoneforge in there. Deal with this. Fucking shadowy Backstreet, man. Keeping me from Thoughtseize into Containment Priest. I think I'm keeping anyway. I'm just slightly upset about it. This deck might not be able to afford the second Shadowy Backstreet. That might be greedy deck construction. Like, that one I could see swinging either way, though. Like, I absolutely have fetched out the second one multiple times, but not being able to curve 1-drop, 2-drop in the combo matchups because one of my black sources, which there are fewer of than white sources, ETB's tapped, is really rough.
I don't think this one is worth mulliganing. Like, I have 3 incredibly relevant cards to the matchup. Martial Arts off the top. Damn it. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Just upset about it. Got the end of turn brainstorm, probably just for pure mana efficiency here. All right. Am I dead now? Is it stock up now? What are we doing? All right, that is the show and tell. So my Containment Priest is not going to do the Containment Priest thing. Just put in Cauldra. I think just put in Cauldra. The Karakas will still be fine on my own turn. Oh, it's Omniscience. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so the fact that we could not Thoughtseize my opponent on turn 1 almost certainly lost us this game. That's a Lorien revealed as a draw 3 on top of the stock up. My opponent has 6 cards in hand. Cunning Wish. That'll kill me. That's going to get shared summons that can tutor for 2 different creatures, one of which is Emrakul, and, you know, we can see the writing on the wall here. It does not appear like our non-reanimator combo matchups are very good. All right. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Liam, your deck's sweet. I think you got lost in the sauce with dissection tools. I boarded that out in every matchup. It is, in theory, good with Samwise. It is, in theory, great in a Delver matchup where you slap that onto some large creatures, say your Cauldra, and then all of a sudden you have enabled Death Touch and Lifelink on, you know, a already difficult to deal with body. But I don't know that this is going to be more consistent for you than just doing something like pre-war formalware that already exists in these sorts of shells, right? Pre-war formalware just returning, you know, say your Samwise, your Stoneforge, your Bowmaster probably just gives you more value on average, even if the ability to sack things and then recur them with Samwise is powerful with dissection tools. I think this card is just bad in enough matchups that it should not be in your deck, even if the ceiling for what it is capable of doing is very high. Beyond that, the core of what's here is solid. I don't know if it is worth being an Aether Vial deck. Vial's just not a good Magic card anymore. And it is very possible that you could just go into a third color, like play blue, be an Esper version of this that gets to do some cantrips, and you end up with a more powerful deck overall, gaining access to not only just raw selection from blue cantrips, but also, you know, your Soul Herder and your Teferis and maybe your Tameo type stuff. I don't know that you have to do that. That might be a direction worth exploring, though. You could, once you're playing cantrips, you can also get rid of your land count. Sideboard felt good. Like, we very much needed all of the things that we had versus Reanimator. I believe that we brought in every card in the sideboard today, which thumbs up to that. Liam, Gold Star, I think you put together a very good deck. This was fun to play. We, I believe, beat the Blue-Black Reanimator deck, despite being on the ropes for a good portion of the game and getting a little bit lucky. So, thumbs up. And the biggest question you need to ask yourself is what I'm doing here stronger than what the traditional, like, Black-White Yorion D&T deck is doing, where you just get to play more copies of cards that look like this and have a stronger endgame? And the answer right now in our crazy combo metagame might be like, yeah, this is reasonable to do. Thoughtseize in a 60-card pool, and this degree of hate in a 60-card pool will hit harder than it in an 80-card pool. So maybe this is good to do. And if you find you need some cards for it, you know where to go. Promo code ThrabenU. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. I'm going to go find some lunch because these games were grindy and we almost timed out once or twice. See ya!